I see you taking a deep breath. I am doing the same thing too. I do not know how to start this program today because I'm here as a parent, most especially. I'm here as a Viking fan. I support JJ Vikings. And
This is
sad
heartbreaking.
day. This is heartbreaking. Sad day for the Minnesota Vikings, for football in America, for lovers of sports, of the game, of football. JJ, why don't you go ahead and tell us about it? I don't know how to announce this, but
Fourth round pick um, from the Oregon Ducks, former cornerback of the Minnesota Vikings, Khyree Jackson, passed away at the age of 24. Absolutely tragic. 24 is more than way too young. And I can't even imagine. I'm about to turn 14 and you know, and um, I just can't believe that this happened. He worked so hard to accomplish what he wanted to accomplish. So he was playing football early in his life, I would say, and he had the opportunity, but then he kind of got taken away from football, and he had to work at a deli cutting ham. He got Employee of the Month at that deli that he was working at, and then he started to play NBA 2K, which is like Madden but for the NBA. And he joined this league, and he was doing really, really well at it. And then he finally gets a chance to be back in the NFL. Gets drafted by the Vikings. All this hype, all this incredible hype coming towards him. You know, like Khyree Jackson. He had the height, he had the coverage ability, the coverage skills, and now all that gets taken away from him. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable, and he suffered. So it was a car crash in Maryland, his hometown, and he had, I believe, two other friends with him that were there, and it's just unbelievably sad, unbelievably sad.
and that happened yesterday, Friday night.
Yes, and it's really being talked about today the most, but I believe it happened Friday night, last night, because they said he passed away overnight, so I would assume that means last night. And it's so unfortunate. He has so much value on the Vikings and in the NFL itself. And this is definitely a tragic day for the entire sports world. And I can't even imagine how his family and friends are, handling this. And my thoughts and prayers, all of our thoughts and prayers, really go to them, especially because I can't imagine what they're going through right now. And they must have, like, when Jackson got drafted, I'm pretty sure like all the happiness that was going around and everything like that. But now he hasn't even played a single snap in the NFL. Hasn't even played in training camp, and his life gets taken from him. Life
That's
is so,
that's what's killing me because I feel like you just said, this kid has had his own share of struggles, and you are like, yeah, he made it. He gets drafted. He hasn't even played a single game, and his life just goes away like that.
life is so unfair. That's why you have to cherish every moment of it, because you never really know when it's your time. And no matter what kind of a person you are in the sports world, your life has always got to come first. And God, I, I I have all the respect in the world for Kyrie, and I've had that respect since the draft, and we had so many high hopes for him, and I cannot believe this happened. It still hasn't fully soaked in yet. I cannot believe it. I refuse to believe it honestly. If I'm being really honest, and if I'm being really true to myself, I wanted to believe that this wasn't true, but then when I saw that TMZ made the post too, I realized okay, it really did happen, and it's heartbreaking. Um, he made a he was about to make a he was about to have a sensational season, a wonderful, inspirational season. He was looking forward to competing against receivers uh, and facing against some of the top tier receivers and facing against the NFC North opponents and all that. All of that. It's just so terrible, and I cannot believe that words can't describe. But we're all going to miss him dearly. We all loved him dearly, and we were mentioning him so much with so much pride and joy when we mentioned him in the draft class.
I
Uh,
mean, yeah, okay. So when you said that, mom, a football player, bad news. When you said his name, I didn't know who he was. But when you talked about who worked at the deli, I'm like, I remember because you guys talked about him so much being drafted from working hard as he got employee of the month, working at, was it a food deli or something? How can life be so cruel? See, I know you're talking as JJ Vikings, the analyst, the fan. I am talking as a parent. Okay, you have a child who is 24, who has been drafted, by the Minnesota Vikings. And I told you earlier, I can imagine how his family celebrated on the day of the draft. Like you made it, and he has been looking forward to getting to play with the team. And then all of a sudden, his life is gone. I put my feet in the shoes of his mother. I put my feet in the shoes of his siblings. I think about what they are feeling right now, and I'm cold.
Mom, he had the physical ability, he had the mental ability. His personality was so easily spread to everyone else in the locker room. He was a fan favorite. He was going to emerge as one of the best corners in the league, is what it looked like. And we should not be it should not be this that we're talking about when we're mentioning Khyree Jackson. We should be mentioning, oh, Khyree got a forced fumble. Oh, he got a pick. Oh, he had a game-winning interception or a pick six or a nice pass breakup or something like that. But we should not be mentioning his death. I cannot believe this. And the fact that this happened is just terrible. It's horrific, and it's nerve wracking in a terrible way, and it's all the bad words you can think of because it's all of that. It's just not something that you want to deal with, and I cannot imagine the burden on his family. And the same thing happened to Jeff Gladney in 2022, who played for the Vikings in 2020. Got released from the team. I believe he went to the Cardinals, and during that offseason in 2022, he got into a car crash and passed away in Dallas, and he was 25. Kyrie's 24, and the same thing happened to both of them. And the fact that Kyrie also had friends with him also makes it worse because they have families too and people that were waiting for them at home. And this is just a terrible, terrible thing to happen.
I don't know what to say. Like I tell you, I'm just thinking about his mother, thinking about his father, about his family. What are they thinking? So I had to wear my school t-shirt. You have your JJ Vikings t-shirt so we can, pay tribute to a fallen star with so much potentials. Wow, he was looking forward to professional football after being picked in the fourth round of this year's NFL draft.
You know what? The Vikings got to do something. Whether it's a helmet sticker, whether it's a patch on the side of the jersey with number 31, or something like that. They have to do something. The Vikings have to do
They
something.
they will honor him for sure.
They will.
They
They'll
will do
honor him.
something to honor him. They will absolutely do something to honor him. They will do. But this brings to mind how short life is, JJ. You and I talk a lot about life and how we should be thankful for the moments that we have and how we should, love our families and tell them that you love them because you never know what might happen tomorrow. And you're only 13, but we talk about death, you and I, as if it's a normal conversation because we need to know that we have to live good lives. We have to be thankful for the lives that we have. We have to cherish the people that are in our lives because like the snap of a finger, it can go away. This is a
Exactly.
tough question for me to ask you, but what does that make you think or feel about life as a 13-year-old?
That I've got it makes me think that a long way to go is a gigantic understatement. It's a gigantic understatement. I have more than a long way to go. I'm only 13, and you know I've got more than a lot of life to live. A lot more than a lot is what I have to say. And the fact is, we have to live life carefully. We have to cherish life, and we have to do whatever we can to tell the people that we love them, and to
And mean
continue to
it.
and mean it, obviously, and continue to achieve. And if you're not doing that, then what are you doing? Because you
Mm.
need to be able to tell your loved ones that you love them, so that they know. Because people need to know how much you appreciate them four times up. They need to know how much you really care for them four times up. And that's why, it's important to pray every day and build a relationship with God, and to continue to trust in Him, have faith in Him, and do whatever you can to um, put your life in His hands. Trust that He can protect you and be with you. Trust that He'll be there for you when times are the toughest, and when times are the toughest of the toughest, and the toughest of the toughest of the toughest. So, the thing is, this was just absolutely terrible. And Vikings, man, I know they'll honor him. The Vikings will honor him, and I hope, as a matter of fact, I pray that they will go win the Super Bowl this year for Kyrie. Do it for Kyrie, because um, and I made a Twitter post recently, with I showed a picture of Kyrie's jersey, and I wrote hashtag love for Kyrie, kind of like the same thing when Damar Hamlin went through cardiac arrest, and everyone was like, love for Damar, number 3. I think we should start a whole love for Kyrie, number 31. Just wear number 31, or put it on your profile picture or something. You know, I did my part for putting his jersey number and his love for Kyrie hashtag on my Twitter to be able to do that. So I think it's very important to honor him in any way that we can, and to do whatever we can to also honor life, to continue to cherish life, and to never take it for granted. After hearing other stories, there are so many things that I will never take for granted again, like being able to have clean water, being able to have a working at least a functional house. To have a functional house, to have a TV, to have internet, to have Wi-Fi, to be able to do this, to be able to have shows, to have all the equipment and the stuff that I need, my microphone, all this stuff. There are people out there that want to do what I do now, but don't have the requirements or the resources that I do, and that's why I'm so grateful for the stuff that I have, and I want to cherish it, while also hoping that people can get back on their feet as well, and have what they want to have as well, and just to cherish all the positive things in life. This should not have happened to Kyrie. It should not have happened to Kyrie. People need to
That's
be
the thing
careful.
about death, it makes you remember the things that you're supposed to cherish in life. It makes you remember what you're supposed to honor, which we don't honor every day. Our parents, for example, respect for our siblings and just the love for being alive. And like you said, it will make you remember to pray and be grateful for waking up every single day because tomorrow is never guaranteed for anybody. This is very heartbreaking. Again, I'm talking as a parent. I cannot just imagine being the mother of
Um,
Khyree Jackson, who is going to be burying her son after just celebrating a few weeks ago when he was drafted. You had a quick interaction with him on Twitter. Talk about that.
yeah, so he's just he was such a funny guy too. You know, he would make these nice jokes, and one of them was when Vikings fan page posted on Twitter that he'd be wearing number 31. That it was official because Vikings fan page posts official Vikings news, and Kyrie was like, "Ew, lol." You know, like he was joking, like he was saying "ew," but he didn't actually think it was gross. So I thought,
Like you
but
for
I
the
was like,
number 31. Yeah.
yeah. So then I decided to write a post. You didn't really feel you don't really feel that way about that, do you, Kyrie? And he's like, no, of course not, but it is what it is, and I'm gonna keep balling in that jersey, and it'll eventually grow on me. You know, I think it did grow on him in the unfortunate little time that he had that jersey on, and he should have had a lot more time. He should have had playing time, and he should have had a lot more opportunities, and not just in the NFL or in football or in sports in general, but in life itself. He was a great person who needs to be cherished, honored, and remembered in any way possible.
This is sad.
God,
I mean, I don't know him, but I know him through you. One of the players that you celebrated so much during the draft was Khyree Jackson.
yes.
You talked about him so much. Life is very short. Life is unfair. I'm so glad that I see Pastor Christabel on the show, and she had talked this morning about having a heart surgery. What matters to you? What is it that matters to you? What do you cherish? She said, you know. And as I'm talking about this kid's death, my heart is pounding like, wow. I'm just like, it's just ever since you told me, I've just had this fast heartbeat. How can you have so much hope? Your future is so bright. You have this football career. He hasn't even played a game with his team, and he's gone. That was the thing he was looking forward to more than anything. He hasn't even been to training camp yet.
Or well, not yet. He's not going to be able to.
Well, yeah, I mean, not yet. He's not going to be, but he did not even get to go to training camp.
See, I
Anyway,
always knew. I always knew the off season is way too long. The off season is way too long. You know what I mean?
it's all right, JJ. It's all right. Well, when you talked about when you told me this, I said, well, let's have a quick talk about it and just, see how we can pay tribute to him and just tell his family to take it, easy, be of good courage. There's some things that as humans we don't have an answer to, and it's okay. So, do you want to say anything else before we stop the broadcast?
You guys can go on Twitter or any social media platform that you can, and maybe like snip a photo of Kyrie or his jersey, just any kind of Kyrie Jackson jersey or uniform or picture of him, and just do hashtag love for Kyrie or something like that, just to spread love and things like that. Kyrie, we all love you, and may you rest in peace. May
Yeah,
God may God rest your soul in peace. And
amen. And they said that just before he died, he had a post that he did on Instagram, and it was titled and the post was captioned with 9 pictures giving an insight into his life. The pictures show how Khyree Jackson enjoyed himself on a holiday we just passed and was looking forward to the new season, with the last picture being an image of him training with the Minnesota Vikings.
will forever be in
Such
our
is
heart.
life. Yeah, he'll forever be a Minnesota Viking. So
Vikings, go win the Super Bowl, but this time, do it for Kyrie. For Kyrie, anything you do, any positive thing you do, remember, it's also got to be for Kyrie.
Thank you, JJ, for coming on to talk to us more about Khyree Jackson. Bye.